In today's meeting of the Nashville Fair Board of Commissioners. My name is Jasper Hendricks, the chair of the Fair Board, and I call this meeting to order. I will begin by reading our legal notice that as information for our audience, if you're not satisfied with the decision made by the Metropolitan Board of Fair Commissioners today, you may appeal the decision by petitioning for a writ of cert with the Davidson County Chancery or Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of the entry of the board's decision. To ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met, please be advised that you should contact your own independent legal counsel. I will begin by entertaining a motion to approve the minutes from our previous meeting.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the question. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
And aye. Now we will have a public comment period. A public comment period is 2 minutes on items that are related to our agenda for today. And so first signer is Heidi Baskill Favorite.
Hello, good morning. Heidi Baskill Favorite, 1711 Neal Terrace, just a couple streets over. I read your op-ed in the Tennessean. Thank you so much for the invitation to come here today. I am the founder of the grassroots organization called Neighbors Opposing Track Expansion, or NOTE, which is part of a broader coalition, Restore Our Fairgrounds. Restore Our Fairgrounds is a diverse group of environmental, faith, labor, neighborhood, urban planning organizations that are urging the mayor and the Fair Board to allow for the voters to decide the future of the Fairgrounds Speedway site based on common sense and community priorities. How do we define those priorities? We are guided by Nashvillians citywide who say they want something different for that Speedway site. One of our partners, Fairgrounds Preservation Partners, has been commissioning citywide public opinion polls on the fairgrounds since 2023. And what they found and shared publicly is roughly 1/3 of people from Nashville come to the fairgrounds. About half of those attend the flea market, I'm one of those, and 1/3 attend the soccer. Meanwhile, only 4% of people come for fairgrounds racing. To be clear, this is not 4% of Nashvillians. This is 4% of the 1/3 of people who are coming here. Put simply another way, hardly anyone is interested in auto racing at the fairgrounds. It's a bygone era that is well gone, and the data shows that. The fact that we are still having this conversation about auto racing is absurd, and is a classic case of the tail wagging the dog. And this isn't about neighbors complaining about noise. This is about the best use of 25 acres of public land that will serve many communities, not just one. So I implore you to be objective and think about the best way to utilize this. It is unreasonable to consider expansion of racing or adding NASCAR in our busy city at this point. My 2 minutes has expired, so I will turn it over to the next speaker, and I thank you so much for your service.
Thank you. So our next speaker would be Brooke Wilson.
Good morning. My name is Brooke Wilson, and I'm a neighbor of Fairgrounds in Wedgwood, Houston. I live on Southgate Avenue. I'm going to pick up where my neighbor left off. The citywide public opinion surveys commissioned by Fairgrounds Preservation Partners in 23 and again in 2025 confirmed that Nashvillians, by overwhelming margins, prefer other uses for the Speedway site. For example, more than 2/3 of Nashvillians say creating a new public park should be a priority at the fairgrounds. Repurposing the 25-acre Speedway site as a regional park would give Nashvillians more space to enjoy the outdoors, festivals, and other events, and provide a real midway for the fair. A new regional park also would align with Mayor O'Connell's Plan to Play vision for the Metro Parks and Recreation Department, which has determined that Nashville needs to add 4,500 acres of open space to the city's network of parks and greenways. Most notably, a regional park would be a nod to the Fairgrounds origin story, which has nothing to do with auto racing. As you know, hopefully may know, the Speedway site operated as a community green space known as Cumberland Park from 1891 until the late 1950s, when it was paved over to make way for NASCAR, which abandoned Nashville in 1984. I realize this narrative is different than what we've heard for years from the racing advocates, but the facts are the facts, and I want to urge you to keep in mind the real history of that site. In fact, you can see a short documentary film appropriately entitled Real History at restoreourfairgrounds.org. You can also find the polling data on that website. Again, that's restoreourfairgrounds.org. Now let me defer to my neighbors to continue stepping through alternatives for the fairgrounds. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Barbara. I couldn't understand your writing. But
It's a tough one.
no, it's the writing. Yeah, but okay.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Barbara Havershak. I'm a neighbor who lives on Hamilton Avenue near the fairgrounds. We know from the public opinion research that only a tiny fraction of Nashvillians use the fairgrounds for auto racing. You've heard my neighbors mention that as well. We also know that more than 2/3 of Nashvillians say creating a new public park should be a priority. But let's talk for a minute about a priority that we rarely hear discussed by the Fair Board, and that is the importance of Browns Creek adjacent to the Speedway and the undisputed negative impact that auto racing has on this polluted urban stream. According to the polling, nearly 9 in 10 Nashvillians, that's 88%, say that cleaning up the Browns Creek should be a priority of the fairgrounds. Meanwhile, according to the state of Tennessee, Browns Creek is significantly impaired by automotive pollutants, including oil and grease. Let me say that again. Browns Creek is significantly impaired by automotive pollutants, including oil and gases and grease. Yet, the Fair Board is considering a dramatic expansion of the Speedway. Given the facts, this makes no sense whatsoever. But don't take my word for it. Environmental experts say cleaning up Browns Creek, which empties into the Cumberland River, would be impossible to achieve with NASCAR at the fairgrounds. Last month, one of our coalition partner organizations, the Cumberland River Compact, released this statement in response to the latest public opinion data. Quote, "We are heartened to see Nashvillians rank the Browns Creek stream restoration so highly in their neighborhood priorities. While Browns Creek has the potential to be the site of Nashville's next great urban stream renewal, it can't be done without focused effort to bring more green space to the surrounding area," end quote. You can find more information about Browns Creek, including the public opinion data, at restoreourfairgrounds.org. Please, let's clean up Browns Creek, or at least don't take steps that would further impair this important watershed. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next up is Natalie Becker.
Good morning, and thank you all so much for the time you take in the work that you do. I really, really appreciate it. I'm Natalie Becker. I am a neighbor here and live on Hamilton Avenue as well. I want to speak plainly about what it means to live in the Speedway area day to day. We keep hearing about how the NASCAR is just 10 weekends a year, but we all know that that's not really a reality. Once this track is expended, if it's approved, promoters are going to be under pressure to add more events to make the numbers work, right? Capitalism. That means more noise, more traffic, more tailgating, more trash, and more disruption to the families and those of us who live here all year round. Even today, parking can be quite a challenge, and construction and growth is everywhere, so it's going to continue to get more and more difficult. On big event days, cars fill the side streets. blocking driveways, making it unsafe for kids to bike and walk. If there's a fire truck or ambulance that need to get through, it's difficult. The idea that doubling the size of the racetrack will somehow come to the perfect parking management or guarantee enforcement of curfews and muffler rules and sound walls that don't work, it's simply not believable. We've lived this, and enforcement has never kept up. The decision about the future of the Fairgrounds Speedway is a decision that will determine whether people can live safely and peacefully in our homes here. That should carry some weight, maybe even more weight than the promise of a few weekends that will benefit out-of-state billionaire corporations that have no stake in what's good for us here in Nashville and in our community. The fairgrounds are public land. This site belongs to all of us here in Nashville and the city of Nashville. It's too important for a decision to be rushed and left in the hands of lobbyists. If this board and the mayor believe that NASCAR expansion truly is what the city wants, then why not let the people make themselves clear? Put it on the ballot. Let voters make the choice, what the future of this historic and valuable piece of land should be used for. I believe if they do, we'll see that Nashvillians want a fairgrounds that reflects the priorities for the future, not the past. Thank you all so much again.
Thank you. So those are for the persons who had signed up. So we have no more signers. No one else has signed up to speak during public comment period. So we will move into our monthly informational reports, beginning with our campus partner updates, beginning with Nashville Soccer.
Good morning. Huge week here at Nashville Soccer Club. It's an opportunity. We have the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup final in Austin tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Should we win, when we win, it would be the first professional sports trophy for the state of Tennessee. So it's a really big deal. If you're not going to Austin, I would recommend you tune in at 7 o'clock. I believe it's on CBS. We'll also have a watch party at the stadium at the North Plaza. Starting, I think it's at 6:30 or 6, but there will be a watch party here. And when we win, we'll have a celebration at Geodis Park, likely on Sunday afternoon, October 5th, and we'll send out an invite when we win. Also, we clinched the playoffs, a playoff spot last week, so that's another exciting update for us. And then we have Tyler Childers coming up October 10th and 11th. Other than that, happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Next, we will hear from Dirk.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Nice to be with you again today. My remarks will be brief on the mixed-use development. I'm happy to report that we actually moved in the final affordable resident in 445 Park Commons a couple weeks ago. So the building is now essentially full, and I think everybody's enjoying being in the building and looking forward to what's next. We continue with our leasing efforts on the retail space fronting Fair Plaza. We have Scout's Barbershop is now open, so I encourage you to go and check out that opportunity. Voodoo Brewery is under construction, and we're waiting to hear some word on when they might prospectively open. We'll obviously have a big celebratory event of that for everybody here when they're open and operating for business. We have since signed another lease with a med spa that will be making an announcement here shortly once that customer kind of gets their PR together. And we're also negotiating a letter of intent for another restaurant in the final remaining space there in the building. So if we can get that deal nailed down, that retail space in the first building will be fully subscribed, and we're looking forward to that and welcoming you to those concepts. We continue to work on pre-development for Block A, which is directly north of the supporters entrance of Geodis Park, and our design development plans will be ready in about a month's time, at which point we'll reprice the building and hopefully make some plans going into 2026 to get the next project started. So encourage you all to pay attention to that as we update you throughout the end of the year on that next project, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dirk. So just to be clear, so you said the apartment building is completely occupied, or is it just the affordable house? The
affordable is 100%. I think we have 7 remaining market rate residences available, so there's still opportunities, but it's getting pretty full.
Okay. So, and the numbers again were about
335 total residences.
335 units,
Yeah.
and 140 of them were designated for affordable housing.
Yeah, 120 at 60% area median income, and an additional 40 at 80% area median income.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes.
Dirk, do you have any update on the micro creator space? I can't remember exactly what we call it. The space, the sort of small business incubator space.
Yeah, the micro business incubator for artists and artisans. That's a 7,500 square foot space fronting Coliseum Way. We're currently in the process of negotiating a lease agreement with a potential operating partner for that, and hope to have that nailed down here in the fourth quarter, at which point there'll be a fundraising effort to build out the space and hopefully get that thing opened up in 2026. That'd be super exciting.
Sorry, my last question is, I think Voodoo Brewery was the one. Do
Yes,
they have a timeline as to when they anticipate opening?
Yeah, their initial construction duration was about 4 months. I don't think they're exactly on that schedule, but I'd say early 2026 would be safe for that. And we're looking forward to that very much.
All right, cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next update will be from Anthony, the Speedway.
Commissioner, Board, good morning. Thank you for allowing us to be here. Took a little bit of a break. We had a great fair, and congratulations to everybody on the success there. We are gearing up for a great weekend. It's our Breast Cancer Awareness Night coming up October 5th, this Saturday. We're anticipating a great crowd and some great partners to be there as well. And as we start planning ahead, the All-American, the 40th running of the All-American 400 coming up November 7th through the 9th, and look forward to working together with everybody on those plans as we get ready for that. But all is good.
And sorry, is there an update on the Hall of Fame? We usually have a banquet around the All-American 400 weekend type where we induct people into the Fairgrounds Racing Hall of Fame?
Correct. That banquet will be November 5th here at the Expo Center, and we've been working together with the team and the board on that to have that scheduled and prepped.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
work. Next, we'll move into capital updates, and we'll begin with Mr. Ed Henley. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Chair. Glad to be here this morning. And fellow commissioners as well. I'll kick us off as I typically do. You all should have some colored documents in your packets there. My typical caveat that I like to give is the numbers that I'll be presenting this morning are about 45 to 60 days in arrears. But I do want to also highlight a couple other factors that I typically don't this morning. One, as far as the sheet that you have in front of you, the blue document, there's been no movement since the last presentation, which is about appropriate for the amount of funds that are left on that document. But one thing I do want to highlight is while there's not much shown on the movement in numbers, I do want to highlight Satrice as well as other staff that have worked with us since the last time I reported here. You get to a point in projects where you kind of transition from one or close out a certain area, and there's a lot of work and cleanup to be done, and Satrice made herself available for some time that we need to go through some contractual closeouts, some purchase order closeouts, and just wanted to highlight that because sometimes the black and white and the numbers on the paper don't do any justice for that. As far as Fair Park, again, ongoing landscaping maintenance. As you see from time to time as you drive by, I know I saw quite a bit, especially leading up to the fair. So just wanted to highlight that that is still ongoing work that is still captured in this budget, and so that's still ongoing in that Fair Park Phase 2. But the majority of work that's taken place since the last time that we reported to you is over at Lot 2, where the work there has continued on. About $700,000 worth of work since the last time I presented this budget to you. So activity is continuing on there. Just wanted to highlight that, and a lot of that work will continue for the rest of the year. Any questions for me?
Thank you. Are there any questions from any commissioners? Yes.
Not a question for Ed, but Laura, I think we had like I'd asked a couple meetings ago about sort of a project roadmap. I know you gave me one, I think at our last meeting, but if it's possible, could we just have that ongoing? And the reason I'm asking is just to remember sort of the milestones in front of us of like what we're working on sequentially. So if we could just have that every meeting, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Exactly what you did last time, just like keep putting it in the packet.
Sure.
Just to remind ourselves, oh, we're doing Coliseum Way now. Now we're doing the intersection over on 4th and 2nd. You know,
Yeah.
we're doing the parking garage, et cetera. That would help. It was great. All these projects remind me all the time of like, I didn't know I signed up for like a 8-year term on a construction site.
Right. Nobody
so,
did.
Yeah. So thank you for that. No question for Ed. That was just a note.
Noted, Vice Chair.
No, I just wanted to, you know, again, to Ed's point about sometimes people who work really hard on some of the behind the scene things with capital projects don't get props. I do want to thank Bell Construction because, you know, we had to kind of interrupt some of the work that was happening in Lot 2 in order to utilize it for the fair. And they worked really hard to get it to a spot that it was safe for our attendees. And so I just wanted to kind of give them a public thank you for understanding our needs with the fair and working really hard to make that site safe.
Thanks. And I just want to be clear, just to understand, like the work that's being done in Fair Park Phase 2 and the other infrastructure is to sort of address some of the drainage issues and things that we've been experiencing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fair Park Phase 2 is specific to maintaining that area, which obviously impacts the drainage through into Browns Creek. And then the design work and a lot of the other work that's going on in the infrastructure section of the budget is related to water management, stormwater management on the site as a whole.
Right. So thank you for helping us to keep Browns Creek clean. Thank you.
Yep. Indeed.
All right. That's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you very much. Engineering. Or Don.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. John Chaney with Collier Engineering. Got update on 3 of the infrastructure projects here at the Fairgrounds. But first, I'd like to say congratulations on a very successful fair. My wife and I came out a couple of times, and it was a very nice event. And to Laura's point about Bell Construction getting Lot 2 ready for what was happening there was just amazing. Great teaming partner. We'll go over these kind of in order. Windgrove Street intersection. There was some potholing done earlier, late last month, early this month to determine some underground utility conflicts. That identified 2 conflicts. Collier has revised our underground design documents, and a contractor for Piedmont will be making some adjustments to their underground utilities to avoid conflicts. Piedmont is going to retire an additional 350 linear feet of underground piping. So that operation is going to take a little bit longer than anticipated. So when that project actually gets in construction, there may be a little bit more of a schedule impact. With that additional work by Piedmont and their contractors looking at permitting and mobilization now targeted for late October, early November timeframe. Moving on to the Lower Coliseum Way Road Realignment Project. Updated plans have been submitted to NDOT and Metro Water Services TDEC and coordinating with NES. From Lot 2, there was some earthwork spoils that were moved over to another parcel on the campus here, and in anticipation of being reused later. The agreement with that property leasee, those spoils would need to be removed by April 1st. The next steps for Lower Coliseum Way are working out the details of the long-term maintenance plan for the stormwater, and that's being worked on currently. Coliseum Way is expected to start after the Windgrove intersection project sometime in early 26. Moving on to the Lot 2 improvements just over here across the street. Of course, we had to pause that work to get ready for the fair. Again, Bell Construction and their subcontractors were excellent to work with and met the needs of the fair. We're anticipating substantial completion of that Lot 2 work in time for the Christmas Village project event in November. You may have noticed when you drove in that they've started the underground stormwater. Some of the big concrete stormwater structures are being installed, and then after that, the bioretention ponds on site will be installed. The electric is substantially complete. We're able to use that work by the fair and the fair operator. Submittals for the bollards, the fencing, and other items on that site have been approved and ready to be released. So that's the update on the three infrastructure projects.
Thank you very much. Any questions? All right. Thank you for your work, and thanks for the explanations.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Next, we will move into our division updates, and we'll begin with our finance report.
Hello. The Metro Charter mandates that certain activities be conducted on the property of the fairgrounds, which include a divisional fair, expo center events, flea markets, and auto racing. I will present financial information disclosing the revenues and expenses associated with fulfilling said mandates. The financial information reported today is preliminary, as all of the revenues and expenses for September 2025 may not have been recorded to the ledgers as of September 29th, 2025, when this report was created. As of September 2025, we have earned $706,000, or $706,800. We have spent roughly $1.4 million, which is a difference of $652,100. Depreciation expense is about $114,000, so the total adjusted variance for depreciation is $766,000. Revenue by division. Comparing year-to-date budget to actuals for each division is as follows. For flea market, the year-to-date budget is $178,500, of which we've earned about $106,500, which causes us to be under budget about $72,000. The contributing factors of this under budget is based on not all of the revenue for the September flea market has posted, and also for this period of time, the first quarter tends to be slower. We don't generate as much revenue. It's like our summer time, so we should see an increase in revenue for next quarter. October tends to be our largest market, so we should see those numbers increase. For the events division, the year-to-date budget is $519,300, of which we've earned about $281,800, We're under budget by $237,400. Again, the contributing factor is that we're in the first quarter of the fiscal year. It's our slowest revenue time. For events, we lose one weekend in October, 2 in September, so we can't book because of the fair. But we expect for there to be a significant increase in the next quarter. We'll have Christmas Village and things of that nature. And I think the next quarter is typically our largest revenue generator. For the division of the fair, the budget, year-to-date budget is $150,900, of which we've earned about $304,400. We are over budget about $54,000. The fair was held September 5th through the 14th, and I believe Scott is here, and he'll probably speak more about that. For contracts, the year-to-date budget is $73,700, of which we've earned $14,125. We're under budget about $60,000. Reason being is our largest revenue source is our ground lease from mixed use, $200,000, which we received January 1st. For other financing sources, the year-to-date budget is $247,400. That's the investment that Metro has chosen to allot for the fairgrounds. Those funds have not been posted. They post quarterly. We should see that post in a few days. For expenses, the year-to-date budget for flea market is $92,900. We've spent about $56,500, which is under budget about $36,000. Events year-to-date is $126,600, which we've spent about $109,000. We are under budget about $18,000. For the divisional fair, the year-to-date budget for expenses is $325,300, and we have spent roughly $730,000. We are over budget by $400,500. Contracts, year-to-date budget is $26,000 roughly, and we've spent about $1,100. We are under budget by about $25,000. And for the administration division, the year-to-date budget is $687,800, and we've spent roughly $462,700. We're under budget by $225,000. So for the gain and loss section, we're comparing the actual expenses to revenue. And so for flea market, we've earned, as stated before, $106,500, and we've expended about $56,500. So the difference is $50,000 in the good. For events, we've earned about $281,900, and we've expended $109,000. The difference there is $172,000 or $173,000 in the good. For the fair, we've earned $304,400. We've spent $729,000 or $730,000, which there's a difference of $425,441. And for contracts, we've earned $14,125, and we've spent about $1,100, resulting in a difference of $13,000. So all in all, the difference is $652,100. That is due to many of our revenue not being posted. However, once their revenue is posted, there will still be a gap there because this is our slower quarter.
All All right, thank you for the thorough report, and thank you for the updates that you provide to us on the finances throughout the month. I did have a question because I noticed something was missing that we normally would have, and that's the list of people who owe us money that I haven't paid yet. So I want to know, was that all good? Was that clear?
We will get that to you guys. Our events manager has been out on vacation.
Okay.
So we will get that to you guys.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't know that was missing, and we will get that out in the
No, I was like,
packet.
oh, everybody paid? Okay, we good.
Almost.
All right. All right, thank you. Are there any questions? Yes.
So I'll have some questions about the fair, but it sounds like Scott's going to talk in a minute, so I'll wait for that. I see, so Therese, we have the administration line now broken out with this sort of non-allocated overhead expenses. Just wanted to see how you thought that was going, like how that is working. Do we still like that plan? And I'd also like Diego's thoughts on that too. So
I do. I like it. I like this plan because I think that when we allocated it before, it was hard to describe or to tell how much in each division was the admin. So I like it showing like this because if you guys wanted to say, well, if we allocated it out, what would it look like? I can do it manually instead of trying to explain to you how much within a division is actual admin. This way you can just see it out, but if you want it to be allocated among the divisions, I can do that manually.
I mean, the only thing that concerns me is just the overall percentage of the total budget. I mean, it's 2.7, I mean, on our budget, it's 2.7 of our expense against 5 million of our total expenses, which I understand it's like not to unpack today. It's just, it's hard for us. Like we're saying that's non-allocatable to events. So it's sort of a non-movable overhead fee. So we have to make enough profit against those events to cover that non-movable expense. So like,
and that's what I want to show, that we have to make enough money to cover.
Yeah, to share very quick thoughts. I really like that we can see closer to true cost of some of those mandated things that we have to be doing, but also to your point, the very high cost of administration. It's not rare across Metro, right? And that is, it is a problem. Agree with that, and it is a problem that we have to solve because it's not optional, right? Like we have to live with that, and we have to figure out a way of living with it.
would you, Diego, I mean, I know you worked in other parts of Metro and done a lot with financial performance in Metro. Like, would you say this is in line with
Yes.
other departments? Okay.
Probably even better than most.
Yeah.
From a proportion of the total budget.
Right.
It's, in a lot of other departments, it would be closer to 80 or higher percentage of the total budget. Yeah.
So, Therese, would you just real quick just give a category listing of what is in the administrative line? That may be helpful.
Yes, so on the administrative line, we have the admin staff, the maintenance staff, you have low cap, you have insurance, you have utilities, you have repair and maintenance, you have insurance.
And I think important to share that a lot of those, we don't have necessarily discretion on what to do or not to do or which one to choose. We cannot go shop for our own insurance for the fairgrounds. We cannot do a lot of those things that you would be able to do in a different organization, right? A lot of those things, a lot of those costs are just imposed, for lack of a better term, right? So again, that's what I mean with we have to live with a lot of those things that just come down as they are, and we have to solve for them and make the math work for us.
It's great work. It's really, really helpful. As I echo Jasper, is really helpful. It's just a complicated business problem.
Right. We need a flat trap. So thank you again. Our next report, we were going to skip down to event services. We're going to have Ryan, and then behind Ryan, we will have Scott.
Good morning, everyone. Just want to speak real quickly to the aging report. It is a very short list this month, and we're very thankful for our events team taking care of that. So we'll get that to you soon. Most of September we spent supporting the fair, our event staff. We are back in full swing of things. We have 6 very busy weeks coming up, starting this weekend with junk hunt and a race. And as Therese noted, we're expecting about 25% of our events revenue budget coming in the next 6 weeks. So we're looking at some new events down in Fair Park as well. We have a Asian food festival at the end of October. We also have a technology recruiting festival. It is a midweek festival here coming up mid-October as well. And then we're really capping off that stretch of things with Christmas Village. As you know, they've been with us a long time. Very large Christmas market event, so we're looking forward to having them back again. Any questions?
My allergies are kicking me right now. Any questions? All right, thank you, Ryan. So next we'll hear from Scott.
Good morning, Commissioner and Commissioners, Chairman. I want to give a great report. The fair was awesome this year, but I want to echo exactly what Laura and John earlier said. With our Bell Construction and Collier Engineering, we were able to get Lot 2 to a point where we could use that. Plus, the electricity for our independent midway, we were not having to rent a generator to power that this year, so that was a huge lift on us to be able to not have to have that issue. So to have shore power for all those vendors was a blessing. Also, I want to thank all the staff and, of course, all the volunteers for their endless hours and commitment to producing a great fair this year, and the entertainers. This year, our attendance was up. Thankfully, we had some great weather. We did have 2 rain showers, one on opening night about 7:30 and then a half a day on Saturday. But other than that, it was a great fair. Public safety-wise, awesome. Our ride partner, Carnival North American Midway, they do a great job. No issues on anything with rides. Of course, our security company and EMS, and of course our team here, public safety-wise, no issues really to speak of. So we're blessed there. As far as our partners, I want to thank Nashville Soccer Club for being able to bring a soccer game to the fair. That was a nice addition for that, which helped on a weeknight for sure. Also, I want to thank our chairman for introductions to Coach Reed at TSU, because I know it was a little bit late, but we were able to get TSU here for one night, and we can build on that relationship moving forward. So those introductions are definitely needed, and we thank you for those. But overall, our entries were up also at the fair. I don't have the exact numbers of that off the top of my head. Our overall attendance was up about 11 to 12,000. Our paid attendance was up around 8,000. So overall, those numbers look good. So revenue should be up as far as is everything to the fair. So the mayor was out 3 times for 2 years back to back. So I want to thank him for his commitment to the fair and bringing out his family and enjoying everything that we do here. Any questions or?
Can you talk about Field Trip Day?
Oh yes, we did start this year with Field Trip Day, and we just kept it small for the first year to learn how to handle that. One of the things that we have to work with the schools is buses, but it was a very successful day. It's just buses run late, so we have to adjust our times. Just the way things are. But overall, it was a very successful day. Those children really enjoyed coming out, getting a hands-on experience with the animals, seeing exactly where their food comes from, learning something, and probably never had the opportunity to get that close to an animal, touch an animal, feed an animal. So it was great.
Thank you, and thank you for entertaining my idea around HBCU Spirit Day. And people did come out and enjoyed what they saw and learned about Tennessee State University's agricultural department, which is a hidden jewel here in our city, and I do hope to see the relationship grow. So thank you, Director Womack, for actually planting that seed, which actually pushed me to help do that introduction, because it's something that she's been wanting to do for a couple of years now and engaging the school. So I'm glad you were able to see that partnership through. Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Oh, you.
Scott, you did a great job. I think we all need to remember, this is a public benefit for the city, and it's a great one. All three of my kids are in Metro, and they enjoyed themselves at the fair, so thank you. So really, really great event, and really working with some challenging conditions, and your team does a good job on that. I think two metrics I care about, I would like to see the attendance numbers when they're finalized versus last year. I think we should see that, so let's look for that for next month. And then I do want to take a moment and talk about the P&L on it. Again, you crushed revenue. You crushed, you doubled your budget on revenue here, and I know we're not all posted in yet, Satrice. I know this is not final, but I do want to get some insights to the extent we have them on the expense side and what's driving that number. Not necessarily a problem, I just want to understand kind of where we're at, given that it's a much larger number than we expected.
Yeah, if I can jump in, because I think it's important that we understand the expense side, because our mandate is to make sure that it happens. Let's make sure that it happens well, and that we can help you optimize the expenses and help drive the revenue up, right? If the TSU thing went well, let's get partnerships with the other colleges in town. Let's have college day. Let's do everything that we can to bring more people in to help us make more money with this, and then let's help with the expenses. I love that idea that we should be, it's not how do we spend less money, right? Like it's not, let's cut your budget. Let's spend smart so we can optimize what our investment in the fair, right? Because it is a public benefit.
And I think to some of it, to Scott, I'm not speaking for you or anything, but I think some of the way that the expenses and the revenue is generated is going to be sort of addressed, and that's why we're looking at changing our sponsorship. So because we're sort of constrained by the amount of money that we can get for sponsorships because of current Metro code. And that's why we've been working on, and Laura has been working on, addressing and updating the language, and we're working with Metro Legal to give us the ability to go after, larger dollar donors so that they can sort of sponsor some of our major expenses. So I know that bringing in a company to operate the rides is probably one of the largest expenses, that we would have. But if if we had the ability to talk to a corporation, someone to help offset that cost, that could help us, in the future. But right now we can't. We can only do 10,000, 25,000. They just upped it to 50 for us because of our ask. But we may need to take a look at, like you said, the expenses, the larger expenses, and see if we can identify specific sponsors for that going forward. And I think Scott and Laura and the team has actually done a great job in laying that foundation. So that way, because we've been working on it for the last couple of years. And so I think next year we'll be able to see, the actual main results of the work that we've been doing to help them with the cost of the fair. Because we've only been doing the fair, 3 years now? 4 years now, since the state took it away and moved the state fair to Wilson County, and now the fair has been on us, to operate full time, and they've only been doing it for 4 years, and I think they've been able to work out and sort of like pave a road for us to, going forward, so that we can, address some of these concerns. But thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Real quick.
I'm sorry, I still would like to understand. I think that's absolutely true on the revenue side, 100%. But I do want to understand a little bit both where we're over an expense, and also, again, and for me, it's not so much, as Diego pointed out, it's not how much we spend. We also want to look at how we can efficiently budget into the future. So do we have any insights into where that 400K variance is coming from? I totally hear you, Jasper, definitely on the revenue side, and we've got a lot of good paths forward on growing that, and it's a rev split on like a lot of the revenue streams here, so that's going to roll up your expense a little bit, but just want to understand a little bit of where we're thinking that's coming from.
So some of that would be this particular year, we allocated admin for fair, but we're going to remove that because I had a conversation with Laura and I said, I don't think that that's the right approach because it is going to drive their number up significantly because admin, when you have like Laura and Ryan and stuff, their salaries are really high. And so when they're working on the fair and you put their salaries against, allocate their salaries toward the fair, to me that's not a fair assessment because the work that they were doing for the fair, like the physical work, we would not hire somebody at that rate.
So is some of, just to say that back to you, so some of the $730,000 in expense that we're attributing to the divisional fair and our actual number might be more properly attributed to the 2 points into the administration line, so running up that 2.7 number a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. Which goes to Diego's point about we might actually see a higher expense ratio or administration ratio in your expense number in other metro departments. So that's okay. That's a good insight. Do we have any other insights?
The only thing that I would suggest, and Satrice, please correct me if I'm wrong, we've worked really hard to improve our internal processes on how we book and record revenue and expenses. This year, we did a lot more and a lot quicker on the expense line. I think if you would see compared to last year, we are recording expenses and they're hitting quicker. Yeah, I do think that last year we went into maybe October and early November, but this year we're booking our expenses and coding those so much quicker because of the support that Satrice has gotten with, again, a full-time AP person and the internal processes and our accountant. Is that fair?
It's fair. And I also want to add that some of our vendors changed. Our PR person, and some of them caused us to have increased expenses.
So let me just stop you right there, because nobody be afraid. We're not afraid to spend money. We just want to understand it. I'm not mad about spending money. I want to understand the money. So like, I don't want any like hiding the ball. Like, if we think we spent more on vendors, like that can be a reason. Let's just talk about it. Again, we doubled revenue. That's good. We know it's a public benefit. I don't expect us to make money. I expect it to lose less money, so maybe. So I just want to understand it. So it's totally good to say that.
Okay. So that's what I wanted to add, that some of our vendors changed because of the procurement process, and it caused us to double in cost.
Again, I think that's really good information, and I don't want to take anything away from the team. I had a great time at the fair. The teacups in the parking lot, thank you, Bell Construction, for stopping so my daughter could be in the teacup ride in your parking lot. So it's a great event. I just want to understand it. And so we'll look more next week when more of the expenses have booked and revenue is booked.
I just want, Scott is an extremely humble man. He's rolling his eyes already. I cannot not have this conversation without a specific shout out to him, to Jamie, to Jessica, specifically for all the work they spend all year preparing and creating these beautiful new exhibits and looking for ways to support the fair's mission, educate our children, and really have a fun time. And so I really do want to recognize his leadership with the fair, his team. I will also tell you that we would not be able to do what we do without our volunteers. People come in from all over to support our creative arts and our judges and our livestock, our family farmers. This takes a huge community to put this fair on. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that if you came to the fair and saw everything that we did here on campus, we had an event moving in on Thursday. The fair closed at 10 p.m. on Sunday. It was ready to go. This building was shining by Wednesday, end of day. It's a Herculean lift, and it took a lot of people to do it. And I don't want that to go unnoticed because everybody sees all the fun, but all that fun has to be cleaned up. So we did a really good job in getting it ready, and it actually smelled really good in here.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Next, we'll have an operations report from Ronnie.
I'm sorry. Hello. Oh, good morning, board. Thank you for having me this morning. Just a brief update on what we're working on. We're going to be cutting the trackside for the junk hunt parking for this weekend. We're going to also be working on 2 breaks we have in our irrigation system on Craighead and also Benton Avenue. I got SM Lawrence coming out to look at those. And just finishing up the cleanup and moving everything back up to the shop area. We also have some bioretention work that we need to do outside the shop that we're going to be working on, and also cleaning up the plaza area outside of soccer at the residential area. Outside of that, just general maintenance and just trying to get the building back where it needs to be to start picking up our events.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Oh, thank you for your work.
Thank
you. Next, we're going to skip over the executive director's report because her report is actually within our old business. So I'm going to move into old business. And the only item that we have on the agenda is discussion regarding criteria for sponsorships and naming rights for a policy development.
So during the last meeting, we just talked briefly about next steps on how to document criteria and processes surrounding both sponsorships and naming rights. And the board had asked at the last meeting that you would be interested in me developing a policy and submitting it to you to respond to. I will tell you, I'm about 75% done with a draft. There's a few things that I wanted to call out special for, like fair sponsorships. Those are handled just a little bit different internally. So I'm about 75% there. I didn't want to send it out incomplete, but due to the fair, some things kind of got pushed aside. So I'll work on that this month. I hope to get it out to you probably a good 2 weeks in advance so you have time to look at it before our next meeting. And so I'm going to ask that this, with that understanding that, that's pretty much all I've got on that. And then I just want to mention too that our November meeting our meeting date needs to be adjusted because of Christmas Village. Christmas Village? I think, oh no, it's Veterans Day. It's Veterans Day. It's a Metro holiday. So we will actually be here because we have an event, but other Metro departments, legal, IT, may be off. So we need to just look at rescheduling the November date, and I'll just send a poll out so that we can narrow down a date.
Okay, so can I have a unanimous consent that we move this item to the next the next meeting? Everyone okay with that? Diego, you okay with that?
Thank you.
Commissioner? Okay. All right. Thank you. No new business. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn if there's no discussion.
I make a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
Second.
So moved to second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. So So thank you all for attending today's meeting of the Metro Fair Board of Commissioners. Have a great rest of your day.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.